Oh my Lord, guys, you should have been with me yesterday. I went to pay my Phil Products bill. And I'm down at Tom Tom's. I'm meeting a subscriber that's there. We sit around and chit-chat for a couple hours. Then I get on my motorbike. Janet's doing her own errands, doing her thing. And I say, I'm going to go to Phil Products and pay my cable bill. Now, my cable bill is about 2,200 pesos. Usually, it's an in and out thing. And I drove down the highway, going north of town, went to the Phil Products, parked my motorbike. You know, they got a security guard in the front, shows you where to park. Then you walk into the building, there's a security guard at the door. He gives you a number. You know, I was number 8. And you go and you sit down. I went and sat in the front row. They're 3 rows deep. They have a glass window with 2 tellers working. 1 teller is gone, maybe lunch or something, but 2 tellers are working. And in the center teller is a foreigner. And I'm going to say he's a Brit because I could tell by his accent he's a Brit. And he was pissed, man. He was mad. He was having a meltdown. He was having a meltdown, man. He was, from what I understood as I'm listening to him, and he's right in front of me. I could touch him because I'm sitting in the front row and where he is. And he is sliding his chair back, and a couple times he stood up and the chair fell over. He was being very loud. He was being very aggressive. He was trying to transfer his Phil Products account from his wife's name to his name. And normally, that's not a big deal because you don't need no new equipment brought into the house. All they have to do is change the billing information. But he wanted it in his name. And the lady says, why? It's a lot of paperwork. And he goes, personal reasons. Well, personal reasons, no problem. To me, get it all taken care of. And the lady goes, did you read the requirements? And he goes, yes, I read the requirements because they give you a list of the requirements when you start up service because he's starting up a new service now. He's canceling her account and starting his account. And with Phil Products, they have requirements. And when I went and did ours when we moved into this new house, the one requirement I forgot to bring my passport. And I had my ACR card, I had my Philippine driver's license, I had Janet with her driver's license and everything. I had to have my American passport. So I had to get on my bike, Janet stayed there. I got on my bike, rode all the way home, grabbed the passport, went all the way back, and continued with the process. This guy, he had his passport, and he had everything else, and he started complaining about, why do I have to fill out all this paperwork? And he was getting very aggravated with the paperwork. You know, she would just hand him another piece of paper and say, sign here and sign here. And he was just, you know, he was just starting to lose it. He was starting to get really angry. And this girl that was waiting on him, she was young. She didn't seem like she's been there a long time. She hasn't had the experience of some of the other gals. So they got down to the point where it was time to the deposit. And the girl said to him, I need the deposit. The exact words were, you have to give me the deposit now. He got up and he yelled at her, don't you tell me what I have to do. And he was very loud. And at this point, the security guard came behind him, stood right next to me. The girl got up and she went into the back and she came back with a supervisor. Now, this is a more mature woman who seemed to have more experience dealing with customers. And the lady told him, you have to pay a 4,000 peso security deposit. And it's on your requirement, your sheets of requirement. And the lady told him, said, if you don't want to pay the deposit, leave everything in your wife's name. And we just tear the paper up and go on. No, it's personal reason, it has to be in my name. Well, he's yelling, and the young lady is being, the original person that helped him, is being so polite. and smiling. And you can see in her eyes, she just doesn't know what to do to make this guy happy. Because she wants to have a satisfied customer. She wants to finish the transaction and go on. In the meantime, the waiting room is getting full. There's like 10 of us there waiting to pay our bill because he's tying up one window. Both tellers are involved, and the supervisor that's there is involved with this guy, explaining things to him. And it's just a big log jam. But the security guy, he stood there quietly, patiently. The girls, they weren't yelling back, they weren't screaming back. And he finally said, okay, I'll pay the deposit. And he goes, I'll transfer from my bank to yours. And this lady goes, we can't do that. This is cash only. I don't know if you can go in person and pay your electric bill with a debit card or credit card or your water bill. Every time I go, it's all cash transactions. All cash transactions. And as a foreigner here in the Philippines, if I'm going to go to a business and I'm going to order service, electrical service or cable service, or I'm going to go renew my motorcycle license, my driver's license, I'm going to take money with me. I'm not going to go in there with no money. This guy did not have any money. So I think all of this argument and everything was based on the fact he knew he didn't have the cash for the deposit. So he was trying to do everything possible to have them continue the service and not charge him the deposit. And the one young girl said to him, if you don't have the cash, you can transfer to my bank and I will give you the cash. Now to me, that's being nice. She's being like an ATM for him. He can transfer Gcash or whatever to her, and she had the cash. She was going to willingly give him the 4,000 pesos. He got angry. No F way am I transferring any money to you. And, you know, you could just see in her face, she was like shocked. Could have just said no. No, thank you. I don't want to do a transaction that way. He did not have the patience or the foresight to deal with Philippine way of doing business. You know, everybody tells you when you get here, the one thing you got to bring with you is a lot of patience, a lot of patience. And this meltdown he's had. And then he came finally to the point saying, I'll go get the money and I'll be back tomorrow. The main supervisor said, if you come back today, we'll hold the paperwork and you come back with the deposit. If not, we have to cancel that because they have to close out the system, I'm going to assume. And, you know, he was just mad. He was just mad. And he goes, if my wife was here and she opens this account, she doesn't have to give you 4,000 pesos. And they say, no, she doesn't. Remember, we're tourists here. We're on a tourist visa. I don't know what he's on, but me, you know, I'm a visitor here. I'm on a tourist visa. If a tourist came to the electric company and wanted, in the US, and wanted to start electrical service, and they would probably ask for a deposit, knowing that this person can get on a plane and leave anytime because you don't have all the correct documents, I'm going to assume. So here in the Philippines, they know you're a foreigner, so you have to leave a deposit. And the deposit here at Phil Products is consumable. So like when I paid my deposit, and same when this gentleman finally pays his deposit, when you get towards the end of your stay, just stop paying your bill. And they'll use that money for your last bill, second last bill, because they don't refund your deposit. It's consumable. You use it. And you always have that buffer for 1 month you can't make it there to pay. They'll take it out of your deposit. That's my understanding. But definitely you can use it at the end, because the lady told me, make sure you use up the consumable before the end of the contract. And with Phil Products, and also with Globe when we were up in Cebu, everything's a 2-year contract. And they have all these sheets of paper you have to sign an initial about the penalty if you terminate the contract early, if you lose some of the equipment. You know, everything has to be written and everything's in writing. So there's a lot of paperwork and you need the patience to go through all this. But this guy, total meltdown, and then he finally accused them of being prejudiced, saying, because I'm not Filipino, you're charging me the deposit. Well, that's just the company's rules, and you got to get used to that. But my biggest takeaway on this is, why would you go somewhere and not have money? I've gone, you know, to the electric company, and I've paid so many bills and bought so many things. I walk around here, and there's no brag about this, but I always have cash in my pocket. I always walk around with about 10K in my pocket. What if I have a motorcycle accident? What if I run over somebody's chicken and I got to pay them for the chicken? What if I hit somebody and I can just pay them for the damage? And what if the tire blows out, you know, and I need a new tire and a rim, and I want to have the money to pay for the emergency thing? Not everybody's going to take an American credit card or an American debit card. So walking around with a couple $100 in your pocket is not a big deal. And having a fit just because you didn't bring money, you made the mistake. You know, so easily was this handled for him to say, okay, let me fill out all the paperwork, and I'll go to the ATM machine, or I'll go to a bank, and I'll get 4,000 pesos, and I'll come back and pay the bill. No reason to yell and scream at somebody. No reason to belittle a customer service person, a young lady, you know, a young lady who hasn't dealt with people like this. You're just embarrassing yourself. You embarrassed me. And as we were leaving, you know, he left first, then I went and paid my bill. And my bill took like 3 minutes to pay my bill. And I go through the parking lot, and he has a car. He's getting in his car. He goes, can you believe these people? And because I didn't want any confrontation here and nothing, I just shrugged my shoulders and walked on my way. But the word was, can I believe you to treat the people like that? And you see this type of person everywhere. They have meltdowns. They can't deal with the way they do business here. It takes time. If you go to the bank, and even the more modern banks, you have to sit in a chair and wait your turn. You have to get used to people jumping in front of you. And I've jumped in front of people. I've walked into BDO Bank. It's been fully crowded. And I told the security guy, I just need my balance updated on the passbook. He walked me right to the front of the line, right in front of everybody. And I handed my passbook to the girl and took care of me and out. Very simple transactions that are moments. They're going to do those quickly. And if they can get 3 people done before they get to the next person in line quickly, where it's really not an inconvenience, they're going to do that. You need patience. You need to show a little bit more respect to the people behind the counter. They don't make the rules. They don't make the rules. And good jobs are hard to get. And if they have a good job, they don't want to lose the job. And they're going to do everything in their power to complete the transaction in a timely manner. But you have to get used to Filipino time, Filipino way of doing things, and you need your patience. Don't bring all your Western or European values and how you think you should be treated ahead of everybody else. You're no better or no worse than anybody else that's waiting their turn. Well, let's hope this guy has a better day and keeps the meltdowns to a minimum.